The biggest word trending on NBA draft lottery night wasn't prospect or potential. It was rigged. And the reason? Cooper Flagg, arguably the most hyped high school prospect in years, landed with the Dallas Mavericks right after they reportedly traded Luka Dončić to the Los Angeles Lakers. To some fans, it felt like a setup. The theory goes like this. The league wanted Luka in LA, its biggest market, to team up with LeBron for one final title run. In exchange, Dallas gets Cooper Flagg, a generational talent, as a kind of thank you for your service from the league. You can almost imagine the phone call. Yeah, Nico, it sucks to lose Luka, but we'll make it up to you. You're getting Flagg. Sounds far-fetched, right? But this isn't the first time fans have raised eyebrows over how conveniently the lottery seems to benefit certain franchises at just the right moment. Think back. In 2012, after Chris Paul left the Hornets for LA, New Orleans magically landed the #1 pick and drafted Anthony Davis. Fast forward to 2019, after Anthony Davis left for LA, the Pelicans once again got the #1 pick, this time to select Zion Williamson. In 2003, the Cavaliers won the lottery just in time to draft hometown hero LeBron James. And now, right after Luka's supposed exit to LA, the Mavericks, with just a 1.8% chance, win the lottery and land Cooper Flagg. It's enough to make you wonder, coincidence or careful planning? Even LeBron James himself once admitted the lottery that landed him in Cleveland felt a little too perfect. And if the greatest player of this generation thinks it might have been fixed, that alone gives conspiracy theorists all the fuel they need. So is it rigged? We don't know. But these patterns, LA, LeBron, and lottery luck, keep showing up at just the right time. That's enough to get even the most skeptical fans asking questions. To understand why people even think the NBA draft lottery might be rigged, you first have to know how it actually works and how far it's come. Decades ago, the NBA used a simple envelope system. Representatives would pull an envelope from a drum on live television, and that determined who got the first pick. But after the 1985 lottery, when the New York Knicks conveniently landed Patrick Ewing, conspiracy theories exploded. Some fans believed the envelope was bent or frozen, so it would be easy to find. Whether that was true or not, it planted seeds of doubt that still haven't gone away. Since then, the NBA has made the process more secure and more complicated. Now, the lottery takes place before the televised portion we all watch. It happens behind closed doors with representatives from each of the 14 lottery teams, NBA league officials, independent reporters, and a partner from Ernst & Young for security oversight. Here's how it works. 14 ping-pong balls, each numbered from 1 to 14, are placed into a lottery machine. After 20 seconds of mixing, 4 balls are drawn, creating a unique combination. There are 1,001 total combinations, and each lottery team is assigned a set number of them based on their odds. The team that owns the drawn combination gets the first pick, and the process is repeated to determine the top 4 picks. It's complex. It's confidential. It's meant to be foolproof. But fans still aren't buying it. And this year's results didn't help. The Dallas Mavericks, who had a 1.8% chance of landing the #1 pick, won it. That makes them the 4th luckiest lottery winner in NBA history. Meanwhile, franchises that suffered through brutal losing seasons like the Wizards, Pistons, and Jazz got bumped down in the order. What makes the Mavericks win even more suspicious for fans is the timing. Right after Luka Dončić is reportedly traded? That's not just luck. It feels too convenient. And fans of other teams are understandably frustrated. Imagine watching your team lose all season long just to fall out of the top 3 and end up with the 5th or 6th pick. That's exactly what happened to teams like Washington and Utah. And then there's the injury chaos that allowed Dallas to miss the playoffs in the first place. No one predicted Kyrie Irving would tear his Achilles. Anthony Davis went down too. Under normal circumstances, the Mavericks make the playoffs, and they don't even qualify for a lottery pick. But this year, the injuries lined up perfectly, and they slid into the lottery with slim odds and somehow hit the jackpot. Add that to the fact that Atlanta jumped from number 10 to number 1 last year, and San Antonio jumped 6 spots, and now you have fans saying, if all this luck keeps landing on certain franchises, how is this not suspicious? Whether it's rigged or not, one thing is clear. The NBA draft lottery continues to stir up more questions than answers. And for the Mavericks, the victory is bittersweet. They got Cooper Flagg, but lost Luka Dončić. And fans are left wondering, was it all part of the plan? So now the Dallas Mavericks have landed Cooper Flagg, the biggest prospect in years. But the big question is, does he actually fit with the Mavericks roster? And what does his arrival say about the team's direction? At just 18 years old, Cooper Flagg is not your typical #1 pick. Most top picks are known for explosive offense. Think Zion, Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, guys who dominate the ball and rack up points. Flagg, on the other hand, is a two-way player. His scoring is efficient but not flashy, and what really sets him apart is his defensive impact, his court vision, and his unselfishness. Let's break it down. Flagg's strengths. Defense first. He's an elite defender who can protect the rim and switch onto guards on the perimeter. Few 18-year-olds have this level of defensive IQ and versatility. Playmaking ability. As a forward, Flagg averaged 4.2 assists per game, incredibly rare for a player his size. He doesn't just make the extra pass, he sees the game unfold 2 steps ahead. Finishing with force. Flagg is powerful in the lane. He loves to go off 2 feet, absorb contact, and finish through defenders using both hands. That kind of poise and physical control isn't common at his age. Mid-range development. He's also showing signs of a smart mid-range game, using pump fakes, footwork, and strong balance to create shots against defenders who overplay his drive. But here's the catch. He's 18. He's still raw on offense. He'll need time to grow into being a team's offensive leader. And that brings us to the Mavericks. Dallas dilemma. Win now or rebuild? Without Luka Dončić and with Kyrie Irving likely out for the entire season, the Mavs have a big decision to make. Do they rebuild around Cooper Flagg and start fresh? Or do they try to compete immediately, banking on guys like Anthony Davis, Derek Lively too, and Daniel Gafford to anchor a playoff run? If they choose the latter, it's going to be tough. Flagg may be a #1 pick, but he's not ready to carry an NBA offense yet. The Mavericks would need to find a legit point guard to replace Kyrie, and that likely means trading someone. With 3 big men already on the roster, AD, Lively, Gafford, one of them may have to go in exchange for backcourt help. But if they go the rebuild route, then Flagg becomes the centerpiece. The Mavericks could commit to a defensive identity, build around his unique skill set, and give him room to grow. Remember, Nico Harrison, the team's GM, recently said he doesn't see himself staying in the same role 4 years from now. That's important. Cooper's development arc is probably 4 to 5 years, meaning if Dallas is thinking long-term, Flagg is a better fit than trying to squeeze one more run out of Kyrie or AD. Flagg versus Luka, a shift in philosophy. The contrast between Luka and Flagg couldn't be more dramatic. Luka was an offensive engine, ball-dominant, isolation-heavy, and sometimes a defensive liability. Cooper is practically the opposite, a defensive cornerstone, ball mover, and connector. That's not to say Flagg is better, but he fits a different vision. One that's more balanced, more team-oriented, and frankly more aligned with Nico Harrison's repeated mantra. Defense wins championships. If that's truly what the Mavericks believe, then Cooper Flagg may not just be a consolation prize for losing Luka, he might actually be the ideal piece for what Dallas wants to become. With Cooper Flagg now in Dallas, the NBA landscape has shifted, but not just because of his potential. The ripple effects go much deeper, and there's one name that keeps surfacing in every conversation: Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, the Greek freak might actually be on the move, and teams like the Spurs and the Mavericks are at the center of that buzz. Let's talk about San Antonio first. They jumped from the 8th pick to #2, a huge leap. That spot gives them access to Dylan Harper, one of the best guard prospects in the draft. Harper is a big-time playmaker who can run the offense or play off the ball. On paper, he looks like a perfect co-star for Victor Wembanyama, setting the Spurs up to dominate the West for the next decade. But there's a problem: fit. San Antonio already has a backcourt of De'Aaron Fox and Rookie of the Year Steph Castle. None of these guards, including Harper, are elite catch-and-shoot threats. That's 3 high-usage players who all need the ball in their hands. And in today's NBA, that kind of roster imbalance is risky. So now the Spurs have 2 choices: draft for talent anyway and risk a logjam. Use that pick to make a huge trade for Giannis. And they might actually be in the best position to pull it off. Milwaukee doesn't control its own draft picks for the next 3 years. That means they have no incentive to tank, but they also need to start planning for life after Giannis. If he forces his way out, the Bucks would want young talent and picks, and the Spurs can offer exactly that. Here's a potential trade package. Spurs receive Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bucks receive Dylan Harper, Harrison Barnes for salary matching, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan, the #14 pick, and a 2029 first-rounder. That's 2 lottery picks, 2 high-upside young players, and a clear path to rebuild. If Houston refuses to give up Amen Thompson, then Harper is easily the best young asset available for a Giannis deal. For the Bucks, this would be a win-now move and a rebuild move rolled into one. Now, what about Dallas? They just drafted Cooper Flagg. Could they flip him in a blockbuster deal for Giannis? Technically, yes, but realistically, no. Cooper is too good, too young, and fits too perfectly into the Mavericks' long-term vision. Trading him would be a panic move. But what if Dallas trades someone else instead? Maybe Derek Lively or Gafford, along with future picks? Nico Harrison has already said he doesn't expect to be GM 4 years from now. If that's true, then he may prioritize winning now over slow development. That's why this offseason is so pivotal for Dallas. Do they go all in for a title while Kyrie recovers and AD ages? Or do they slow play this rebuild around Flagg, hoping he blossoms into a Kawhi Leonard-type star. Meanwhile, let's not forget about the 76ers, who quietly jumped to the number 3 pick. They're likely to take either Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe, two elite wing scorers who could pair beautifully with Tyrese Maxey and Jaren McCain in the post-Joel Embiid era. In fact, this whole draft lottery was wild. The Mavericks jumped 10 spots. The Spurs jumped 6. The Sixers climbed from 5 to 3. And yet, the Wizards, Pistons, and Jazz, teams that suffered all year, fell out of the top 4. So, what does this all mean? It means Cooper Flagg might be the headline, but the real story is how this draft has opened the door for seismic trades, superstar movement, and a complete reshaping of the NBA's power structure. Whether it's the Spurs loading up around Wemby, the Mavericks rebuilding with defense-first identity, or Giannis preparing for a new chapter, one thing is clear. This isn't just a new season. This is the beginning of a new era in the NBA.